Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Jeff, and you are watching the Schwa Mill, the weekly show on Fluent American where we take a look at your pronunciation files. You can send them to us, and then we give you feedback basically on vowel sounds, linking, stress, reductions, placement, intonation, all of that fun stuff to make sure that you can help expand your American English accent, American English pronunciation. As you can see, we are not in our normal location. This is, oh my gosh, this is the room that I grew up in. So we are visiting my parents right now. So my parents get to hang out with my son for a bit. I think my mom and my son are trying to take a nap right now. We'll see how well that goes. So we might get some unexpected visitors a little bit later. So this is definitely a temporary, definitely a temporary background. Yeah. But great to see you, Emmanuel. Who else is here? Justin's here. Cool. Justin was just asking about placement and asking about, how low. Getting frustrated sometimes. I know a lot of people actually have sent me things like feel like you can't go low enough, or feel like a strain, or things like that. When those sorts of things are happening, this should never be painful. This should never be a strain. So if you're feeling that is happening with placement, that is obviously never a good sign. It's not our goal. We're not trying to make English uncomfortable. We're just trying to change the way some of the standards that we've been using to pronounce it. Okay. So we'll be definitely talking about a lot about that. Justin, hope you sent me a file. Ali is here as well. Thanks for stopping by. I don't know how long you'll be able to stay for, but it's great to hear from you. I know it's been a minute. Situations, again, in Syria are always a little complicated, I understand. But I'm glad you could take a moment right now to be with us. We do appreciate that. And also just some housekeeping things, just because of the situation, visiting family, things like that, I'll try to be here as long as I can, but there's a chance we may need to end the stream a little early. Appreciate everyone's understanding with regards to that. Hello also to Sycamore checking in. Sycamore has been super active in our Telegram group, which is great. Love hearing his files. Does a really good job of getting that airflow through. Reminds me of Emmanuel in that way. But in case you've never been here before, I kind of just want to walk through how everything works. I don't have all my fancy equipment, so this is definitely a kind of a bare bones version of the live stream. I do have my camera and I do have my light, but that's kind of it. Don't have my soundboard. That's why I'm using this microphone, all this stuff. So bear with me, kind of taking a step back in time to a degree. Okay, you guys should be able to see my screen again, doing that infinite window. Oh my gosh. Okay. So anyways, this is what you're going to see. If you want to send in your own audio file, I put a link at the top of the chat box. It'll send you to this document. You're going to see here not too many files, so we should have time to get through all of these. So if you want to send one, now is definitely the time. Get on it quick. So you can put your name down, or you can leave it anonymous if that makes you uncomfortable. Just let me know what sentence you're using, so just in case there's ever any issues, I ever need to refer back to something, or if even I don't understand something you said, I'm sure put the sentence down so that way I'll have something to double check it with. Some things are helpful for me, knowing where you're from. If you have pronunciation questions, also kind of getting a better understanding of why you're starting to learn, why you're curious about pronunciation. Those are things that are really helpful for me in designing future content. So answering those questions it's really helpful for me. But anyways, you're going to see after you join, or after you go to this link at the top, there are instructions that say, here we go, at the very top, excuse me. One notch just below, go to vocab.com. This is vocab.com. This is what it looks like. Relatively simple looking. When you first sign on to it, you'll probably see a microphone icon or a record icon, something like that. You record yourself. Once you're done, it sends you a link, and that is how we are able to see you and hear you. For instance, we just got ghosts are visiting us and sending us files from the past, potentially, or just finding ways to use technology because it's 2022. Even babies know how to use it, right? So, sending us vocal files. Excited to hear that one. And that's pretty much all you need to do. And one last thing I always feel like I need to say is that as you're listening to these files, many people have been studying Many people have been studying English for a long time. They speak it for a long time. And some people have. So, if you are someone that has not, been studying as long, or you're listening to people and you're like, oh my gosh, my accent is not nowhere near as good as everyone else's. It doesn't matter. We aren't here to judge. If that is something you're nervous about, you can just, again, leave it anonymous, and that's perfectly fine. But, if you have an issue with something, there are literally probably like 10 million other people, maybe even 100 million other people that have the same issue. Like, the number of English as a second language speakers is just so high. We're in the billions. There's more of you than there are of me. Like, there's more second language learners than there are native speakers, So if that's something that you're feeling nervous or uncomfortable about, please don't. We'd love to hear your audio files. The things you say are going to be helpful for everybody, if you're willing to share. And maybe you're a lurker and you haven't shared ever. We'd also love to hear from you too. I see here, Manuel's mentioned the airflow. Yeah, because I think when people think placement, I think a lot of people are just kind of focused on the aspect of where am I projecting from, and that's obviously very important. You want to be projecting from a lower spot, but in a lot of ways, the airflow component is just as, if not more important. Just making sure enough air is getting through your throat, because most likely you are speaking a language where the airflow is more restricted. Yeah. Oh man, the options. The options are endless. Who could it possibly be besides Elvis? Hello to Zabeda. Zabeda's asking for a sentence to practice her R sounds. How vicious a sentence do you want? Do you want to go hardcore? What are some animals that start with R? Actually, let me change this. Let's add an L sound. Oh no, I didn't. Hang on, I need to add a verb. Wranglers regularly roar along the range. Oh, a raccoon. I'll stick with wrangler, so I want to get that R sound. I mean, that L sound in there too. But I appreciate raccoon. That's a good suggestion. Might have to make another sentence with that. Okay. Airflow is structural. Cool. We'll hear it out. We'll talk about that. Cool. And so, in case you're scared of this, wranglers regularly roar along the range. Oh my gosh. Right? Okay, but I think I kind of summarized all of our housekeeping things. If you guys have some questions, of course, as we go through this, be sure to let me know. We're going to do just a quick blitz round. Again, we don't have a Shok sent one really quick. Let me just check this. What we're going to do as I'm checking these files is we're going to do a blitz round, where basically all that we do is we're just going to listen to everybody really quick, give one major piece of feedback, and then once that's finished, we'll go back and give more detailed feedback. So the quick hit. Shok always with the languages. Cool.
Hi, I'm Justin, and I'm from the Philippines.
Okay, and Justin has sent your file.
Replied to my comment earlier.
Cool.
Hi, Justin.
And Justin's files.
It's hard knowing exactly what is happening.
Cool. Excited to hear all of those. Great. And yeah, you missed the prompts sometimes. Maybe what I'll do, we'll return every now and then. We'll do prompts again. Maybe next live stream we'll add some prompts once more, because I know sometimes it can be tricky to think about, I don't know what to say and things like that. I totally understand. All right, I think we are ready to go back into listening to your files. Oh, let me add myself there, right? Again, it's not little, it's more little.
The G host was class.
Are you feeling that here, or here? Alright, you will see I actually look exactly the same this time, because I've already been wearing my headphones. So nothing really changes about that. But I will be sharing my screen, so that way we can start listening to everybody. Just give me one moment. We'll get the infinite window. Oh my gosh, going to infinity. So wild, right? Okay. So again, we're going to be listening to everybody. Let's give one piece of feedback. Then we'll jump back in and give things that are a little bit more detailed. First file.
What was I supposed to do, huh? Not talk to her?
Not bad.
What was I supposed to do, huh? Not talk to her?
Not talk. I like your stresses. Like the breath and the airflow. I think that's really great.
What was I supposed to do, huh?
What was I supposed to? If I'm being very nitpicky, if I'm giving any sort of like, I'll say critique, if I'm saying anything that you could play around with.
What was I supposed to do?
Suppose. It does feel to me like we're kind of restricted. Like, what was I supposed? Was I supposed? Was I supposed? Was I supposed? I think that would be a good word to put into English. You could probably even do the phrase. I imagine you could find a couple hits like, what was I supposed to do? What was I supposed to do? Because I think the suppose, you could probably get slightly lower and slightly more open on that O sound.
What was I supposed to do, huh? Not talk to her?
Not talk to her. Another thing too is you could also reduce the H on her.
To her?
To her versus to her. To her. But this is my quick feedback. We'll be back in a moment.
Well, I don't need specifics, but I have to know where they're going. That would make me feel a little bit less worried.
Okay, continue watching out a little bit for short I sounds for phrases like, for instance, a little bit.
Make me feel a little bit less.
Little versus little. Okay, so that's one quick thing. And also,
Well, I don't need specifics, but I have
I really like that part. That sounds really good.
to know where they're going.
Going. Maybe a little bit on the NG, a little lower.
I have to know where they're going. That would make me feel a little bit less worried.
Yeah, but I think the little bit part is the, if I'm trying to identify one thing to focus on, I think that'll be a decent one to choose.
You can catch more flies with honey than you can with vinegar. You can catch more flies with honey than you can with vinegar.
Honey. Schwa sound instead of an ah sound.
Flies with honey than you can.
The ha, honey versus honey.
Flies with honey.
Honey. Okay. The other thing too, again, and I think we talked about this in previous streams, is that this does feel like, it feels like you're reading. You know, it doesn't feel like something that you're saying naturally in a conversation, which doesn't mean that it sounds bad, but it just, again, sounds like you're reading.
You can catch more flies with honey than you can with vinegar.
Because I think it's like, you can catch more flies with honey versus you can catch more flies with honey. So maybe, for instance, raising the pitch a little higher on the h part, honey. Okay, just adding more extremes, because right now we're kind of staying a little bit flat. So that's making things sound, again, like the red.
No, I just practice on myself, like by watching YouTube videos and stuff. No, I just practice on myself, like by watching YouTube videos and stuff.
Okay, just want to check the chat really quick, make sure everyone can hear, because I know sometimes people can't hear me. Let's see. Dun, 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 dun. Okay, seems like people are hearing me. Cool.
No, I just practice on myself, like by watching YouTube videos and stuff.
You know, I think at times our vowels are a little bit fast. For instance, like YouTube. Like, I would say YouTube 3 times, like YouTube. Like, ooh. In fact, another thing you could do too is do like ooh. YouTube. Just to make sure that those vowels are becoming a dominant sound.
No, I just practice on myself, like by watching YouTube videos and stuff.
YouTube, because it's really fast. Also, I would say on like, sounds a little high.
No, I just practice on myself, like by...
Like really tense and high, right? I feel like I'm around here, like versus like. Practice myself, like. Instead of practice myself, like. Can you hear the difference? So that's one thing I would consider there, too. Up next.
I saw pale kings and princes too, pale warriors. Death pale were they all. They cried, La bella dame sans merci, had thee in thrall.
Okay. Shok's always going for like the literary stuff. She's so sophisticated. Shok, you're so sophisticated.
I saw pale kings and princes too,
Princess. I'll try to get that S sound a little stronger.
pale warriors.
Warriors. I'm guessing that's warriors. Pale warriors. I want to look in the... Pale. Yeah, pale war. So I would practice saying war a little bit.
Death pale were they all.
Where they? I feel like I heard where instead of were. So watch out for that too. Death pale were they all.
They cried, La belle dame sans merci,
I can't judge for French.
had the enthrall.
And then enthralled. It's not enthralled. I'm exaggerating, right? But kind of like watch out for that, like that second part, because we're getting very throaty there. It can be a little smoother.
The enthrall.
Okay. Yes, those would be my quick thoughts there.
Hi, I'm Justin, and I'm from the Philippines. And I'm just gonna read your reply to my comment earlier. Hi, Justin.
Hi.
It's hard knowing exactly what is happening
Fuck.
without hearing you, and we're doing a live stream where you can send audio in about an hour. I think I'm speaking from the front of my face again. Okay, I'm gonna try to lower my placement.
Okay.
Do keep in mind what is low for me is not the same for everybody. You might have a higher register, and that is fine. Everyone's biology is everyone's biology is different. The key is doing what feels relatively lower for your body. Oh, I need to emphasize the your. The key is doing what feels relatively lower for your body. For your body. It should never feel like a strain. It could also be a sign that not enough air is passing through your throat.
Okay, so there are times where I think your placement is low. There are also many times where I think your placement shoots up. So I think firstly we're being inconsistent on placement, and I want to focus on placement for your feedback because that's something that you specifically asked me about. To give you an example of a time where I think your placement is actually in a pretty good spot.
Where you can send audio in about an hour. I think I'm speaking from the front of my face again.
Where is it? It's
I'm gonna
here.
try to lower my placement. Do keep in mind what is low for me is not the same for everybody.
The way you just said everybody. I think was in a good spot.
Keep in mind what is low for me is not the same for everybody.
Everybody. I like that. Everybody. So use that as kind of like a guide. I think that can really help you. But the other thing I think is, in addition to placement, and we already mentioned this, is also just airflow. There are times where your valves are just really closed off.
Hi, I'm Justin, and I'm from the Philippines.
Yeah, full Philippines versus
The Philippines.
Philippines. Philippines. So it's a full. So it's a little bit of a combination between a high placement that we need to shift lower and also a closed throat position that we're trying to open up to allow more air through. Okay, we'll get more in depth in that in a moment, but I do want to check on the chat just kind of see how everyone's doing. Okay, so that was our quick feedback session. Cool, I like that. Sounds good to me. Okay, the recordings do not have to be shorter. You know, the live stream doesn't last forever, so I can't if it's a longer one I don't necessarily have time to do everything, but you know, it doesn't have to be necessarily a short recording. So we're talking about definitely thank you, I appreciate that. Yeah, I mean, it's again just kind of based on my own experience from teaching. You know, I was teaching a lot of pronunciation students, and one of the things that we kept running into was students would have this really good mouth position. You know, I would look at what they're doing with their jaw and their teeth and their tongue, and I'd be like, man, you guys are everything looks good, you know, but the sound's different. Why does mine sound different than yours? That's the question I kept asking myself and kind of asking my students, and then kind of finding out more information about placement and things like that. It just explained it made so much sense for me. I know there's other teachers out there, again, kind of like what you mentioned, that don't mention placement. You know, textbooks don't mention. I have tons of pronunciation, or look through tons of pronunciation textbooks that don't even, you know, it's not even a word you can index in the book. Or there's also other teachers there that kind of disagree with the approach, which is cool. You know, that's, from a student perspective, that's great. You know, find the teacher that's teaching the things that connect with you. You know, so if you're watching a lot of my videos and you're like, oh man, this placement stuff, this isn't working for me. Cool. I'm not the teacher for you. Find someone else who is. There are plenty. You know, I think it's a really helpful concept. Audio was good. Thank you, thank you. Loud and clear. Thank you, thank you. Unfortunately, I don't have my other monitor, so I can't check on the chat when I'm sharing. So I'm kind of just in the void, unless we want to do that like infinite window business. Kind of a, I think sometimes the sounds, it's not consistently nasally, but there may be some sounds that are going a little high. I do think that happens. Okay, so that was just kind of the Blitz round. Oh, and Zobeda sent one. I just want to check it out really quick. Oh man, Zobeda's trying that sentence I threw at her. I am excited to hear this. Okay. Let's see what happened. I'm excited. I hope you guys are too. Let's see how Zobeda did with that sentence. Give me one moment. Where did I put it? Is it this one?
Regulars regularly roar along the range.
Okay. I think honestly a lot of this is actually the microphone. Zobeda, if you are serious about pronunciation, I think we're approaching the time where it might be good to get a dedicated mic, or if you already have one, maybe looking at some other different options, because I do think we're getting some interference on the sound. But having said that, I'll get the best feedback I can.
Regulars
I feel like I'm not even hearing the L, like Wranglers.
regularly roar.
Regularly.
Regulars regularly.
Placement goes a little high with L linking with some vowels like li versus lay. Okay, so watch out for that. We'll talk more about that in a moment.
Roar along the range.
Along the range, yeah. So those are probably the big things there. But again, we'll get some more detailed feedback in a moment. All right, I think we are at time to everything looks good in the chat. Kind of go more in depth. So let's take a look. This first one here.
What was I supposed to do, huh? Not talk to her? What was I supposed to do, huh? Not talk to her?
Okay, so this is our sentence here. It's just the adverbs. In general, when you have sentences, you do want to stress adverbs. In general. That is a gross overgeneralization, but in general. So that's our sentence.
What was I supposed to do, huh?
What was I supposed to do? So another thing, so you're stressing do. What was I supposed to do? What was I supposed to do?
What was I supposed to do, huh?
Do, huh? Do, huh? I like your huh. I think that sounds really good.
What was I supposed to do, huh?
I think a lot of times, just again, it would be another phrase, a good phrase for Youglish as well, to just kind of see where people are putting the stress. Because I think actually, a lot of times, suppose will actually get the stress. So instead of supposed to do, more supposed to do. What was I supposed to do, huh? What was I supposed to do? Because I would be curious to see what other native speakers are doing in that situation, but I'm kind of leaning actually more towards supposed. Just a note. So I'd play around with stress, see what feels better to you. And then the second half.
Not talk to her?
Not a good movement. Not. That's a very natural intonation pattern you hear all the time in American English, where it's kind of like a fall rise. That's extended. Not talk to her. Not talk to her.
What was I supposed to do, huh? Not talk to her?
Not talk to her. Yeah, good stresses there. Yeah, honestly, I don't have a whole lot else to say. Those are kind of the first things that are coming to mind. I think in general it sounds pretty good.
What was I supposed to do, huh? Not talk to her?
Yeah, and I think we mentioned earlier for supposed. Yeah, if you have questions about anything in that sentence, let me know. But I like this. I think it sounds pretty good. Thanks for sending that file. Can't do this without you guys. Second one.
Well, I don't need specifics, but I have to know where they're going. That would make me feel a little bit less worried.
Post-induce final examples. That's still kind of what I was expecting. Because I'd experiment, see how it sounds with supposed, see how it sounds with do. Thanks for checking that. I appreciate that. Then we got Sycamore. See what Sycamore is doing. Like the whole kind of like scenario situation.
Well, I don't need specifics, but I have to know where they're going. That would make me feel a little bit less worried.
First half, let's kind of split it in halves.
Well, I don't need specifics, but I have to know where they're going.
I don't need specifics, but I have to know where they're going.
Well, I don't need specifics, but I have to know where they're going.
I really like this. I think it sounds really good.
Well, I don't need specifics, but I have to know where they're going. Well, I don't need specifics, but I have to know where they're going.
If there's any thing to look at, I would continue maybe looking at going. I think I mentioned it earlier. I would say say going like 3 times, going, because I do think something is just sounding slightly different than I would expect, and I don't have at this moment like 100% certainty about what it is. If I had to guess, it's either the short I sound, the like go or like also the ng sound, like going. Okay. I'm thinking that the placement would be rising, or the ng sound is causing things to tense up slightly at the end. So, so I would just say going a couple times. ing is a very tricky sound, and it's super frequent as well, obviously. So again, make sure you're getting like an ing, going. And you will hear people reducing it and things, but just kind of something to watch out there. That's the one sound for me in that part that sounded different.
That would make me feel a little bit less worried.
The second half feels choppier than the first half.
Going. That would make me feel a little.
That would make me feel.
Where they're going. That would make me feel a little.
That would make me. It's very choppy. That would make me.
Where they're going. That would make me feel.
That would make me feel. So I think your consonant sounds are getting just slightly stronger than they were in the first half, resulting in kind of that.
Going. That would make me feel.
That would make me feel versus that would make me feel. That would make me feel. So I think you could weaken some of those consonants. One way you can try doing that is remove all the consonant sounds and just do the vowels, like a, e, e, or a, or a, or. That would make me feel. That would make me feel. And it doesn't have to sound perfect when you do that. In fact, if it does sound perfect, it's probably not a good sign either. You want it to kind of flow. So practice that a little bit there to try to get that a little smoother.
That would make me feel a little bit less worried.
And then we mentioned a little bit of the short I sound. So it's a little bit more, a little bit. So watching out for those short I's in that little sequence there. Ooh. Also,
Where they're going. That would make me feel a little bit less worried.
That would make me feel a little bit less worried. Kind of very safe choices in terms of the stress patterns you're using, and that's fine. Safe works. Nothing wrong with safe. I would say that you do have the opportunity to stress like little. Like that would make me feel a little bit less worried. You could also add a stress on that too. Like that would make me feel a little bit less worried, or like things like that. But these are just opportunities to play more than things that you necessarily have to do. Just kind of showing you some options there. Hopefully that makes sense. If you have questions on that feedback or anything you're not certain about, or you just hate that feedback, you can let me know that too. Thank you for sending that. I do appreciate it. Just want to check on the chat for a moment without seeing a million of myself. Okay. Chat's quiet. Where'd everyone go? No one's got nothing? Feedback makes sense? Tell me some things. Out of all these sentences so far, any sequences, any words you want to hear again? A little bit less worried. Like, so, may I ask, can you emphasize less? That would make me feel a little bit less worried. That would make me feel a little bit less worried. I think that would be very unnatural. That would make me feel a little bit less worried. That would make me feel a little bit less worried. Yeah, I think it's stress either going to be little or worried. I can't think of a situation where it would fall on less. Personally. But you can try it out, see. People look at you funny if they're like, what that man say? Like things like that. Don't blame me. But I don't think less is a natural stress for that. Let me see, who is our next victim? Okay, let's take a look. What was the sentence they did? Wasn't in the sentence. Question here 2. How do you say pharmaceuticals? You say pharmaceuticals by saying pharmaceuticals. So that C takes on more of an S sound. And it's more pharmaceuticals. Hopefully that was helpful. This sentence here, Marcos goes heavy on the expressions. You can catch more flies with honey than you can with vinegar. So this is an expression that, you know, when you're sweet with someone, you can get them to do what you want or things like that than if you're mean to them or bitter. Yep. It says constantly disconnected. Oh no! I'm sorry about that situation. I'm glad you stopped by on another name. You have like 1,000 names. Oh yeah, because I remember you used to like, I don't want to say like spam people's like comment sections and your names would get banned or timed out and things like that. So sure pronounce the T that way. You know, I think that's a good question here. Nay is leaving this out. That would. Can you just remove it? That would. You could. Honestly, you get away with that. I think that can still give you a natural sound. Just removing the T. That would. You could also do a stop T. I would not do a fast D sound. So like that would. That's a little harder. Versus that would. So you could definitely do a held one, and I think you could also get away. With removing it, and it would still be pretty understandable, honestly. But again, that would is probably one of your least natural ways of saying that, if you ever say it that way. Everyone's having issues. Oh my god, power went out exactly as you went about to go live. I promise I didn't touch anything. I promise. I had enough trouble just trying to set up everything. Okay, but going back to this sentence here, nice little expression. Before we actually do that, so Justin's question came in. So when we say we're like printer or winner, yep, sometimes hear it. I would say you probably hear it all the time. Probably don't even know when you're hearing it. Yeah, this is one of those situations. So if you have an N plus a T, and the T is not in the stressed position, then the T typically goes silent. You see this on printer, winner, interview, center, international. You know, these are all words where it's really, honestly, look, American English, the times where you actually hear a T sound are really only when the T starts the word, in all honesty. All the other situations are pretty optional because it's either going to be like a fast D sound or a held T sound, things like that. That's actually something that we'll be talking about in the next video coming out. The next video is going to be talking about linking words together, and it's a it's centered around beginners, but I think I added some notes there that even advanced English learners studying pronunciation I think will benefit from, things that you may not have heard with regards to linking, or at least like one thing. Okay, because of the that's great. Thank you, Sigma Radio. Always appreciate that. Always appreciate that. And team event. Yeah, I'm trying to think of another. Yeah, I can't think of any exceptions to that, so I will go around with that right now. There's always exceptions. Fluent American. What's the difference between culmination and a climax? Great situation. The climax is typically like the height of the action. So, for instance, the climax in a movie is typically when like the big fight scene or like like they're about to rob the bank, or like things like that, you know. Versus the culmination is like you put in all the work towards something, and then it's kind of like it finally comes to fruition, you know. So they can certainly be related, but not entirely the same thing. Tuition. No, it's not you. No, it's not you. It's Farmhouse after 3 minutes. Oh no! Hope your food's okay. Grunting. There are always, everyone's pointing out to exceptions at the NT. There are always there are always exceptions. There are always exceptions. That's the joys of any language, but especially English. There's always exceptions to this. Intuition, my intuition is. I think even intuition is occasion, not very often, but occasionally you might hear the T on there, grunting. But grunting you could also say without the T, grunting, grunting. You know, it's never wrong to pronounce the T. If you're nervous, if you're scared, it's never a mistake to pronounce the T. BW Beats, welcome back. One trick I heard you comply with speaking is keep space between molars when you're speaking. Interesting. The way I would actually, I probably wouldn't phrase it that way. I would phrase it more as about breath. How do you get breath? I think the end goal is kind of the same, because if your molars are touching, you're restricting airflow in your mouth. Okay, and even potentially tightening things in your throat to a degree. Everything's just kind of shutting. Whereas again, American English is the opposite. You know, you want lots of air moving through. Okay, so for instance, take a word like little. You know, if you're just saying little, like things like that, or kind of closing things off. Personally, I'm very biased, but personally I kind of prefer my way, because there's lots of, just because your molars aren't touching doesn't necessarily mean that you're allowing enough air to come through. You know, you can say little without having your molars touch, but it's still a tense, closed sound. You know, so I think that certainly can be helpful, but I think there are other techniques that might be more effective. But I'm not necessarily disagreeing. But I haven't had enough time to explore that either, so I don't want to give a concrete answer on that. Just my 2 cents. All right. Oh, we were talking about Marcos. Marcos is being very patient with us. He's always. I feel like Marcos is always super patient. Let me take a look. Make sure to share my audio. It's about to get really trippy up in here. Whoa! Okay. Listen to this again.
You can catch more flies with honey than you can with vinegar.
I think the things that we mentioned, you catch more flies with honey than you can with vinegar. Again, the big thing is that we were just really flat. So taking some stressed words and really playing around the pitches, trying to get them a little higher, I think will lead to a more natural sound. So right now these are sounding, you know, we're probably giving them like 2 or 3 pitches.
You can catch more flies with honey than you can with vinegar.
Okay, at the very end, vinegar. There you start exploring more of that lower range, which is great. Could we have done that sooner too? Another thing that can help, if you're talking and you feel like you're sounding a little bit robotic, or a little bit flat, another thing that may be doing that is having stresses that are extremely predictable.
You can catch more flies with honey than you can with vinegar.
So like, you're stressing honey and vinegar, but you're also adding some other stress. You're adding a little bit of stress on catch. You can catch more flies with honey than you can with vinegar. But your most heaviest stresses are going to be honey and vinegar. So some other options, you could play around with stresses. Maybe stress more. You can catch more flies with honey than you can with vinegar. You can catch more flies with honey than you can with vinegar. You know, something like that could just kind of add some energy, get that going a little bit more. You could also stress the pronoun. That's generally unexpected. You don't usually stress the pronoun unless you want to add emphasis. Like, you can catch more flies with honey than you can with vinegar. You know, if you want to maybe give some words of encouragement or suggestion to someone or advice. Just some options. I'll play around with stresses a little bit more, and the stress words raise the pitches a little bit higher.
You can catch more flies with honey.
And again, we mentioned the schwa sound, so honey, it's not honey, it's more honey, honey.
You can with vinegar.
I would take the stress off can.
You can with vinegar.
Than you can with vinegar. I would take off that stress.
Honey that you can with vinegar.
Slowing you down. It's not really adding a whole lot by having that stress, so I would take that stress off. Okay. Those would be my big suggestions there. If anything isn't clear, sure let me know. I forgot to make timestamps again. I always forget timestamps. If you guys ever do live streams, does anyone here have a YouTube channel? Any YouTubers here? Let me know. Sounds good. Sorry if I'm late on that. But thanks for stopping by. Always appreciate it. We'll see you on the group as well. This bitch is the first half. It all depends on what word you're stressing. Okay. So for instance, if I am stressing, where is the sentence? Like if I'm stressing honey. Let's say I'm stressing honey. Catch. You can catch more flies with honey. You can catch. There's like duh 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 duh. It's like more flies with honey. It's like down, 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 up. More flies with honey. Okay. I think that would be a really helpful sequence there for that part. You can catch more flies with honey. You can catch more flies with honey. Okay. The key part is especially going to be that more flies with honey part. I think that's going to be the part that's going to be the key to getting that first part sounding natural, to make sure you're going low enough. Honestly, I think that's going to be the part to pay attention to. Can you reduce? You can catch. You can catch. Yeah, sure. Why not? You can catch. You can catch. You can catch. You can catch more flies. So an option. Or then you can. Then you can with vinegar. 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 Do you hear what I'm saying? It's like it's not then you can with vinegar. It's more then you can with vinegar. That's another thing you may hear people doing. Okay, hopefully that makes sense. Really quick, guys, before we get into our next audio file. Oh, let me see. Tib. I'm glad Tib is back as well. I heard it sound American. Rhythm is crucial. Just speaking gibberish, but with American rhythm, it still sounds great. Yeah, for sure. For sure. A lot of people are using patterns that aren't very common in English, just making things stand out. So when you talk about rhythm, one of the big things is that getting to the lower pitches. This is a big thing because a lot of people aren't doing the low stuff. They're kind of staying a little bit too high, and that's affecting your rhythm. Conversely, some people also just aren't going high enough, and that's also having an impact on rhythm. You know, so these are all really important things. This is where shadowing exercises are really fundamental. A lot of people do shadowing, but they don't really know what they're looking for. You're doing shadowing exercises where you listen to something and you repeat it immediately. You're doing shadowing exercises to build up your gut. You know, kids don't learn this stuff. You know, I'm not teaching. Well, that's not a good example. I don't talk to my son in English. My wife. When my wife is talking to my son, you know, she's not like teaching like, oh, you need to raise your intonation there. You know, Christian, I don't think her parents ever told her that. You know, native speakers, and think about your own language. You know, no one's telling you these things. You just kind of pick it up naturally. That's what kind of shadowing is. You're trying to develop your ear and your gut reactions. I don't want you thinking about pronunciation when you talk. I want you just doing something because it feels right. We're trying to build up that gut sense. We're not trying to build up the overthought analytical sense because that's going to slow you down. It's not going to be natural. We're trying to build up your gut, your instincts, language instincts. What feels right. Just like how it feels in your first language. That's what shadowing is for. Shadowing is for developing that sense of, oh, I said it this way. I don't know why I said it this way. It just felt the most natural. It sounded the most natural to me. That's what we're trying to work towards. I think I may have seen, there's a lot of different videos like that. Some of them are weird because they make like a whole conversation, but they just use English words, but it's like now, so it doesn't make any sense and things like that. But yeah, Justin notes upper part of my face. Justin's looking at my face, see how my face moves. The face doesn't move too much when you're speaking, unlike me. I have some, I think they're shorts. By the way, guys, if you, I would love to know your feedback. So I've obviously been pushing a lot of shorts recently if you've paid attention to the channel, or maybe you haven't, and that's cool. that's also a good sign because it hasn't been distracting. But if you have seen the channel, you're like, oh, Jeff did another short. Why is he doing that? I would love to know if it's bothering you or you find it distracting. Or you're just like, Jeff, do whatever. Don't care. Yeah, you don't want to overthink it because that you end up you have the opposite reaction. In fact, like if you have a word that you're like, oh my gosh, I always mispronounce this word. How do I say this word? Oh my gosh! And then you try to use it in a sentence. You're like talking, and then you're like, I need to say the, and then like you just stalled everything. You've made it stand out so much. It's so much less natural now. It would have been better just to say the word, do it horribly, and then move on than it to like go slow, still mess it up, and then keep going. Yeah, you don't want to keep it going. Thank you so much for that feedback. I appreciate it. All the content's from old videos. I have a lot of videos. I don't know if you guys have seen. I have a lot of videos, so just like picking tidbits that I think would be helpful. But yeah, going back to this point. Yeah. So, anyways, I do have a. Why were we talking about shorts? Going back to I have a short where we're talking about how your lips and even your mouth position don't matter, or they don't have to matter. And the example is pretty much just like going through the vowels, like a, e, o, u, oi. You like, and notice that my lips aren't doing a whole lot, right? A, e, o, u, oi. You could certainly exaggerate. You know, you could do a, e, o, u. You could certainly do that, and it gives you maybe a slightly clearer vowel sound. But in all honesty, it's not necessary. Yeah. I am. So I talked to my son in Italian, my horrible Italian, but while he still listens to me. Eventually he's going to go to school and like not want to do Italian at all, which is fine. But yeah. I do not have TikTok. It's complicated. I appreciate what TikTok's doing. I know it's the thing, and I know that, you know, for growth and stuff, it's definitely the app to be using. I think they just surpassed YouTube in terms of like total hours. So I certainly understand all that. It's a great application for that, but it's just I don't trust it. Like the data. I mean, I don't trust any of the social media stuff, but TikTok's even worse because they say they do things with the data to like protect it, but then they don't and stuff. Like I'm kind of waiting for whatever the next social media platform is to jump on. Waiting to see. So that's kind of. There actually is a new platform. I don't know if you guys have heard it. It's like Be something, and it's like you randomly get text, like a text, and it's like you have to take a picture in front of you and behind you, and then post that. So that's kind of something I'm keeping an eye on. When my son goes to preschool, maybe I'll play around with that. This is really helpful for me. Shorts are great. This education channel, cool. I appreciate that. Yeah, I'm not trying to flood you with things. I'm trying to keep everything related to everything that we talk about. I'm not trying to just show random stuff. So I do appreciate that. Yellow Submarine subscriber. Cool. I'm not familiar with you. Welcome to this live stream. Are you a lurker? Have you been here before and just didn't say anything? Is that you? But great to have you. But what's the difference between a dark L and an R sound? Let's see if we can give some quick examples. See if you can hear. You say that they sound similar. Okay, so let's see if you can hear the difference between these words here. Ma, mar, fall, far, stole, store. Again, ma, mar, fall, far, stole, store. Okay, so what I would say when I'm saying ma, mar, ma, mar, ma, mar. When I'm saying ma, I feel like the middle of my tongue is lower. Backward tongue's slightly high, but the middle of my tongue's a little lower. Okay. Ma, mar, I feel like the mid back of my tongue is higher on the R. Okay. It's like all, R, all, R, all, R. One thing you'll notice too, all, R, all, R, all, R. Did you guys see my lower jaw? All, R, all, R, all, R. So when I'm doing R, my lower jaw lowers a little bit. R, R, all. And then when I'm doing all, with the dark L, my lower jaw raises slightly. R. Because I don't know if that will help you, but just kind of some things to keep in mind. Not exactly the same sounds, right? Similar, you know, you always want to make sure enough air is moving through your throat and things like that. But not exactly the same sound. Obviously can cause some confusion. So do watch out for those. I would practice those word pairs. All right. Oh, there was something else. Let me do another audio file, then there's another thing I want to discuss with you guys really, really quick. Who next? Whoa! Sorry.
Are you watching YouTube videos and stuff?
Okay.
No, I just practice by myself, like by watching YouTube videos and stuff.
Okay. Things here. I'll do a singer best of complete. I need to. I want to. If I do it, it'll probably be like an unlisted video that I'll just put in a comment or like on a community post. Be like, hey guys, here's a quick compilation, because I don't. I feel like people who don't know the channel it would be like, what is happening? Who is this?
No, I just practice by myself, like by watching YouTube videos and stuff.
Guess that's for this audio. Sorry for the weird camera things.
No, I just practice by myself.
Let's kind of split this in half. I like that first half.
No, I just practice by myself.
Sounds pretty good.
No, I just practice by myself.
If I'm being very nitpicky.
No, I just practice.
I just your placement jumps up on that.
No, I just practice.
Versus I just. So I would try to keep it a little lower on your schwa for just. Okay. Just a minor note.
Practice by myself.
I'm gonna practice by myself.
No, I just practice by myself. Like.
Does sound to me on myself.
Practice by myself.
Self. Can you hear the difference between self. So I do think on your L, you might have tendency to go a little tenser, a little higher. But you know, I think in rapid speech, most people probably wouldn't even notice that. It's probably not even. It's not that big a deal.
No, I just practice by myself, like.
Oh, let's hear that like.
Like by.
Like. Your place was really high. I. Versus I. Like. Is it like. Because just watch out for that placement there on that I sound. I would try saying I 3 times, like I, and then you can add an L before it, like lie, I, lie, lie.
By watching YouTube videos and.
Hear it also on by.
By watching. Like by.
Like by, I, like by. So it's not I like by. It's more I like by.
Watching YouTube videos and stuff. By watching YouTube videos and stuff.
YouTube. Okay, I think we mentioned the ooh sounds on YouTube. Can you do like ooh, YouTube, Just trying to get the placement a little lower. A little bit more air through.
By watching YouTube videos and stuff.
Yeah, those are the main things. I think the rest of this sounds pretty good.
No, I just practice by myself, like by watching YouTube videos and stuff.
Yeah, I like that and stuff. I think it sounds pretty good. Cool. Hope that's helpful. If you have any questions or concerns, be sure to let me know. Appreciate that. So make sure I got people questions. Yeah, paying attention to those things I mentioned. I tried to identify some areas where I think that placement could be helpful. When do kids learn writing? I don't know. That's something we're working with my son right now. He can write his name, but he goes crazy on the M's, man. He does the T good. He does the A. His name is Tatum, so it's like Tatum. So you can do the T, you can do the A, you can do the T, you can do the U, but then on the M, he always goes crazy on the M. He's just like, it's like what are you doing? Why? Why? I don't know if that's the writing you're talking about. Maybe that's more spelling. In terms of like writing essays, like just occasionally I have some students that are like in like grade school, middle school age, you know, and so it seems like 5th grade, so what, you're like 9, 10, 11 years old, you know, being able to write like a simple essay, like a 3 or 4 paragraph essay. Seems to be pretty frequent. It's obviously not going to be like a groundbreaking essay. These things aren't going to be winning Pulitzer prizes or anything, but they're not bad. Yeah. Question here. Thanks. Lower my placement was lower means throat or chest area. I think in general it doesn't quite reach your chest. It can be helpful to like aim for that, but like the goal isn't necessarily to be there. It's just kind of like get it down. You'll probably feel it more in your throat. But what you may feel in your chest is you probably want to try to feel a little bit of resonance. We talk a lot about resonance. We talk a lot about breath. Trying to, when you talk, you should feel a little bit of tension in your diaphragm. So for instance, one way you can kind of get that is when you, I know you guys hear this a lot, but like when you laugh, like a serious laugh, like and like you put your hands on your stomach, what do you feel? You feel things tensing and relaxing. Well, that's your diaphragm at work, So I don't know if you have any music training, but a lot of people who have music training find this helpful. Is again trying to get that breath, because you want to feel your diaphragm tense a little bit when you're talking. Okay, trying to breathe less with your your chest area and breathe more with your diaphragm is another thing that can be helpful. Trying to get that resonance and sound. Not all American English accents have resonance, okay, but just kind of something to keep in mind. It's a generally very acceptable form of pronunciation. Okay, is having that low resonance, vibration, breath, warmth, depth. Those are all kind of synonyms for the same thing. He turned 4 in June. Little man's growing up, getting big. And there are good audios today. That is also true. Okay. The best channel on YouTube. Oh my gosh. Where's my soundboard? Thank you so much for the kind word. I am not paying tip. If I could, I would. But I am not paying for your endorsement. I appreciate that. What's up, Sultan? How did you find us? It would be great to know that. But welcome to the stream. I hope you find this helpful. If you want to send us an audio file of yourself speaking in American English to get some feedback on how you sound, be sure to let me know. I do have to apologize for this setup. You can see my dad has like some synthesizers and all kinds of music stuff. This is his music storage room, aka my old bedroom. I used to sleep over there. Yeah, I meant spelling. Yeah, and it's funny because again, I'm working with my son on Italian, and Italian spelling is so much. I mean, Emmanuel, like romance language spelling is so easy. it's so easy. So like I'm teaching him like. He could do like relatively complicated words, 4 or 5 syllable words in Italian reading, pretty easy. But English words, they make the English words like you'll get like this. This is like my favorite word. Like you'll get this word. Like, how do you say this? Oh, it's phlegm. It's like how do you teach English? How did I learn English spelling? That's actually something like I found when I learned. As an Italian major at school, and as I was learning Italian, my English spelling went downhill. I used to be really good at spelling in English, and it just went downhill the more Italian I learned. Definitely hurts. What a great channel name. Also, is your channel about music and stuff? That is a great thumbnail. Really like that. But thank you so much for the kind word. Everyone's so kind today. I told myself I wouldn't cry today. Yeah, spelling, yeah. So we're working 3 years old, 4 years old. Start working on it. For 4-year-olds, you work on a lot of things in English that are called like sight words. So just words that you see them and you just immediately know what they are. That's a big thing for 3 and 4-year-olds to get started on. But yeah, cool. If you guys have some other questions and things, let me know. Otherwise, we're gonna. Oh wait, no, there's one thing. You guys can join me on a journey. Gosh, so I'm doing a free program right now. Not the serious one. So I'm doing a program right now that's going to launch later in September, but I'm trying to get feedback on it right now. Which basically consists of we're going to be doing 30-minute daily live streams. So again, my son's starting preschool, so I can change up my schedule so I can do, in theory, lots more things than I can in the past, which is cool. we'll see how that actually goes in reality, but that's the goal right now. So one of the things is I'd like to do a daily live stream Monday through Friday, where with a private group. So you could join that group with a subscription, and then basically every day you would get a 30-minute live stream, because a key thing with pronunciation is it's something that you want to be practicing a little bit every day. So this would kind of be your like your personal trainer to be like, hey, let's do a little bit of pronunciation practice today. We do things kind of like this, what we're doing today. We do some native speaker analysis. We would do some vowel drills, consonant drills, all kinds of stuff like that. Pretty chill, but just consistent. That's the big thing. So if you want to help me out on this trial, I can show you. The one thing you will need is you will need access to Facebook. And I know Facebook's old and stuff like that, and people have different thoughts on Facebook, but for what I'm doing, I think Facebook is the best platform for that. Okay, so if you want to help me out, and you also want to get some free pronunciation help, this is the program. It is called Mission English. It is right now invite only. Okay, but everyone is pretty much open to it. I'll post the link actually. I've been having issues with the link. I'm not gonna lie. Facebook's been kind of not doing the thing super well. But I'm gonna post a link in the chat box, and if you want access to free daily live streams with me, we're going to the trial's going to start next week. The live streams are going to be in the evening my time, so I know time zone's not going to be the best. When we actually launch, it'll be in the mornings my time, so that'll be a little more accessible for people. But if you still want the help and things like that, definitely check out that link there. It'd be great to have you. And you can let me know if that link is not working. Tell me. Facebook. Come on, Facebook. Put things together. Sounds like a lot of people found us randomly. Thank you so much, Justin. I appreciate that. Oh, so much. I feel bad. I'm literally just kind of doing this from a bedroom. I really appreciate that. Study English, Department of Students Problems. Oh, yeah, for sure, because it's not taught. Most of you, if you went to school, you probably didn't have a pronunciation class until you already had, you already talked English, and then they're like, oh, yeah, headbutt away. In addition to grammar and stuff, oh yeah, people actually talk and there's pronunciation. Yes, it will be different. It's only for the trial. When the thing actually goes live, it'll be most likely like 9 a.m. my time, 9 or 9:30. But also because the streams will stay live in the group too. So if you're not able to attend the class, you can come then. I might also do some classes in the evening, some classes in the morning, just to mix it up. Okay. Yeah. I totally understand. I totally get it. Facebook's definitely not for everybody. But if you're willing to, it would be great to have you. Anyways, just wanted to let you guys all know about that opportunity for free stuff. Who doesn't like free stuff? I actually hate free stuff, I'll be honest. My wife always comes home with free stuff. I'm like, where are we going to put this like tiny robot that dances? Like, where are we going to put that? Okay, this next one I believe is Shoke.
I saw pale kings and princes too. Pale warriors. Death pale where they all. They cried, La Bella Damsel Merci had the enthralled.
Okay, I think we mentioned a lot of the sounds that I want to identify.
I saw pale kings and
I really like that part. I saw pale king. I like what you did with pale. That tends to be something that people have a hard time with.
saw pale.
Pale. So again, allowing the A sounds considered like long vowels, allowing it to break before the L, which is great. Like ale, pale. Great. Really like that movement.
Kings and princes too.
Is it princess or princes? Princes. Watch out for princes versus princess. Princes versus princess. I don't know where this is from, actually, Emmanuel. Sorry about the weird thing we got going on, but I do want to talk about this really quick. So, princes. Watch out for that. Princes versus princess. It's like So it's an for prince. Princes versus for princess. Okay, so just note. Princes, princess. Princes, princess. Watch out for that. That will bite you.
pale warriors.
We talked about warriors, so watch out for those R sounds. It's like war, worry, ears, warriors, warriors. And then try to say that 3 times, right? Warriors, warriors, warriors. Try to say warriors 3 times and make sure it's clear. You know, it's not roar. None of those R's can take over if you're not careful. Remember, the R sound is actually a relatively light sound. Don't let it dominate. Okay. Warriors, warriors, warriors. Warriors, warriors, warriors. Warriors, warriors, warriors. You know, so that's kind of the goal there.
Death pale where they all.
We talked about war. It's like where versus were. Death pale were they all.
They cried, La Bella Dame Sans Merci,
Can't judge the French.
had the enthralled.
And then enthralled. We talked a little bit earlier about the dark L sounds, like awed. Can you just like imagine awe plus with a D at the end? It's like awed, enthralled. So I would practice that sound. Back of your tongue a little bit high, front of your tongue down. If you find that that's a tricky sound to do, awed. You can also try to open your mouth wider. Awed. Okay, and then as you get more comfortable, you can then practice closing your mouth more. Okay, that would be the big sound I would take a look at there. Okay, thank you for sending that file. It's a long one, so I want to move on, but I think a couple things there to chew on. I liked it. Thank you for sending that. Who next?
Hi, I'm Justin, and I'm from the Philippines.
Okay, so this is Justin. I want to just make sure we got no questions. Cool. Alright, Justin, you sent a long file, which is cool. Let's kind of just, as we go, we'll just kind of pause it and discuss.
Hi, I'm Justin. Hi, I'm Justin.
Hi, Okay.
Hi, I'm Justin, and I'm from the Philippines.
Again, the big thing there is, again, Philippines, which we talked about earlier. So, like, again, Phil. So, you can just say Phil, like F-I-L-L, Phil. Phil, like fill your car or something like that. Phil versus full, because it feels very closed off in the throat.
I'm from the Philippines.
Philippines versus Philippines. It's like, see if you can do Phil, then see if you can do Phila. You notice that when I'm saying Phila, the tip of my tongue is actually against the bottom of my mouth, pressing against my bottom front tooth. Even for the L, it's like Phila, Philippines.
Hi, I'm Justin, and I'm from the Philippines. And I'm just gonna read your reply to my.
Read.
And I'm just gonna read your.
There's nothing wrong with that. You can say read your. That's somewhat physically difficult to say. So what you will often hear native speakers doing when you have a D followed by a Y sound is to make it more of a J sound. It's like read your, and your often gets reduced to like your. Okay, it's like read your, and I'm just gonna read your. Okay, so there's nothing wrong with saying read your, but you may find that that's actually physically difficult. It's a little bit smoother and easier to say read your.
I'm from the Philippines, and I'm just gonna read your reply to my comment.
Reply versus reply. Can you say ply for me? Ply.
And I'm just gonna read your reply to my.
Reply versus reply. Your placement sounds like it's kind of up here versus down here. Reply.
My comment earlier.
I'm here earlier.
Reply to my comment earlier. Hi,
Okay.
Justin. It's hard knowing exactly what has happened.
Can you say exactly?
Hi, Justin. It's hard knowing exactly what.
Exactly versus exactly. Exactly. Notice how straight my lips are. Exactly. I said exactly more exactly. Can you say it with a smile? Exactly. I think having the lips a little tenser might help with that.
Hi, Justin. It's hard knowing exactly what is happening without hearing you. It's hard knowing exactly what is happening without hearing.
Without. Can you say ow for me? Ow. Can you add a th before that? It's like thou. Ow, thou. And then can you say without? Ow, thou, without. I do think we get a little more air through on that. Without.
Exactly what is happening without hearing you. And we're doing a lot.
Also note that without has a voiceless th, not a voice. So it's not without, it's more without. A lot of people do with. I don't. Every time I give a pronunciation test, part of my pronunciation test has a. It looks at consonants, including the voiceless th, and I would say like 90% of students are pronouncing with, like with, which can happen, but on its own, with is voiceless.
Justin, It's hard knowing exactly what is happening without hearing you.
Because like without versus without. So it's a little bit more voiceless.
And we're doing a live stream very consent.
That I sound is consistently coming up. A lot of times it comes to I versus I. Like live. It's not live, it's more live.
We're doing a live stream very consent audio in about an hour. I think I'm speaking
Like hour, good.
on the front from the front of my face again. Okay, I'm gonna try to lower my placement.
Okay.
Do keep in
Do. What are you doing with your lips when you say do? Because I feel like you're doing ooh, do. Kind of tensing, slightly rounding. Can you say do with a smile? Do. Okay. Again, it's all about the placement and the breath. So it's not ooh, it's more ooh. And I think when you're rounding your lips, it's causing your entire sound to kind of tense up and move forward. Okay. But which you can do ooh. You can do it with round lips, but for now I would focus on the placement, which may be helpful by straightening your lips.
mind what is low for me is not the same for everybody. You might have a higher register, and that is
We say that again for might. So it's not my versus my.
a higher register, and that is fine. Everyone's biology is oh no.
Oh no, it happened again. Oh no.
Everyone's biology is different.
Biology. Watch out for that second or that first biology.
The key is doing what feels
We say that again on doing. It's not doing. It's more doing.
biology is oh no. Everyone's biology is different. The key is doing what feels relatively lower for your body.
Body. Again, also the sounds I think would be a good vowel to study because sometimes they're closing off like body versus body. Body is your sound like stop or a hot or a lock.
I need to emphasize the your. The key is doing what feels relatively lower for your body.
Doing what feels relatively lower for your body. Lower for your body.
Doing what feels relatively lower for your body.
Lower for your body. Lower for your body. Let me hear that part again.
Everyone's biology is different. The key is doing what feels relatively lower for your body.
Lower. Let me hear lower.
The key is doing what feels relatively lower for
Lower. The R sound. Lower versus lower. I liked how you actually did low.
The key is doing what feels relatively lower for your
Low. I think make the R weaker. I think it's a little too strong. The R sound is actually a relatively light sound. It needs to be present, but it doesn't need to mean it needs to be strong. Okay. The key part is more the O. Lower.
your body. I need to emphasize the your. The key is doing what feels relatively lower for your body. For your body. It should never feel like a strain. It could also be a sign that
Like I said, never
enough
feel like
air
a
is
strain.
passing through your
That sounded
throat.
open to me and lower. I did like that. Never feel like a strain. Okay. So lots of little things there. Take a look at like the I sound and the ah sound. So there's some consistent vowels we saw. Also that oo sound trying to open things up. Okay. But Justin's doing all the things. He found the channel, posted a comment, which I appreciate. You know, guys, if you want to help out the channel ever, easiest ways to do that: liking a video, leaving a comment. Those two things are super helpful with helping videos. But Justin did those things and then also sent an audio. It's been a busy day for Justin, which is great. Thank you so much for sending that audio. I really do appreciate. Okay. I missed a ton of things. Let's see. We're going to do National Cinema Day. I don't watch. I have a 4-year-old man. I have an English teaching business I'm trying to run. I have a wife. When do people watch movies? Nothing. I don't think I'm going to. I have no plans. When is it? Is it today? Is it tomorrow? Well, I don't even know when it is. I haven't even heard of it. Justin asked, how do you pronounce midst? Midst. It's like midst. Mit. It's like do like a held T, like mit, and then do an ST. St. Midst. Okay. Thank you. Your voice is not consistently high. It goes higher on some words, but it's not consistent. You know? Yeah, exactly. For Philippines. Yep. Uh-huh. Markiplier. I don't know what that is, but maybe. Ply. Yeah, like plier. Like the tool. Yeah. Yeah, for TH. Yeah, for without. What is this? I don't know why. It's such a thing. I didn't even know it was a thing until I started giving people this pronunciation test. I was like, why is everyone doing this? I don't know where people hear that from either. All good? Oh, everyone's like that. You know, pronunciation is the worst. Pronunciation is the worst because it makes you it's all good. These things are happening, but that happens when you do pronunciation. Is you get so Prop Jot's in the house. Great to see you again. Welcome back. I would say that what happens when you study pronunciation, it's very easy for pronunciation to depress you because as you learn more about pronunciation, the first thing that happens is you're like, oh my gosh, I've talked wrong, quote unquote, my entire life. Oh my gosh. The other thing that happens too is you start doubting everything. You're like, I don't know how to say anything. I think it's very easy to kind of fall into those sorts of traps when you're studying pronunciation for any language. But the key is, no, neither of these things are true. You do say things right, otherwise people would not understand you. Just trying to get used to the patterns and things. You know, it should be a fun process. It should be a learning experience, but it shouldn't be painful or making you doubt your language ability. You guys are all doing great things. Take my family to movies. I think my son is I don't know if my son could handle like an hour-long movie. It's also, I mean, to each their own. With our son, we're doing our best to kind of limit the screen time stuff. So like we'll watch, when I'm with my son, we'll do 10 minutes of like watching like a YouTube video in Italian, and we'll pause it like every 5 to 10 seconds to talk about what we see on the screen, try to make predictions and things like that. Yeah, that's kind of our stuff. Trying to get him to like do more toys and stuff. But yeah, he's gonna be that weird kid that never doesn't know anything about pulp culture and stuff, probably. But like me, I don't know who actors are and stuff. Pretty much like me. Man, men, woman, women. Always trouble pronouncing them. What vowels are used? Yeah, that's confusing things. So man has your a sound that links with an n, so you get like an and. Make sure a lot of air comes out of your nose right before that n. And man. Okay. Men is your sound. Close your mouth more. Get your tongue big in your mouth. You want to block air. Raise the back, the middle, and the front. The sides of your tongue can touch your teeth. Me, men. So again, man, men, man, men. Woman, This is like in book or good. Woman. And then the second syllable is more like a short I. Men, woman. And then women. It's like two short I sounds. Women. So man, men, woman, women. Always fun words to say. You know, it's funny looking up studies about American English vowel sounds too, because some people are like, oh, there's 15. Some people are like, oh no, there's more. So like even like linguists don't seem to have a concrete idea how many vowels there are in American English. It's fun seeing that discussion. It's only $3 though. I am pretty cheap. That does sound like a good deal. Popcorn's probably like $10. No. That new is pronounced like new. Yeah. I mean, but all those sound the same, right? No. Right? No? Justin. Justin, right? Maybe. No, yeah. Ooh, no. No. Make sure you're not saying new either. I know some of you have some of that British training. Watch out for that. British Empire. This changes everything. I watched 1 hour of Jeff and doubted everything in my life. Correctly, I mean natural sounding. Yes, look at that. I like that correction. Multiple. You may also hear multiple. There are multiple. You may actually hear people doing like a fast D sound on that T. Multiple or multiple. honestly. That's that British Empire striking again. That's why. I thought I said that, no? Hang on. We're going to do some IPA explorations. What did I say? Give me a moment. Just other woman. I think it's always interesting to see that. Yeah. Like book, good. Yeah. Our friend here. It's like woman and book start with they have rhyme. Woman, book, woman, book. You may hear some like variations and things like that. There's always regionalisms, but in general, right? Right? What's up, Riddick? Hope you're doing well. Riddick's a member of our Telegram group. Actually, speaking of which, if you want daily pronunciation practice with me, you just want to spend like 5 minutes just sending me audio files, kind of like what we do today. You send a file, I give you some suggestions and things like that. We have the opportunity for you.
Eel, please. I think your O sounds are a little bit tense. I'm getting a lot of O. Take off the T on center.
So what you can do is you can go to, right now it's on patreon.com/fluentamerican, but it might be moving soon when I get my new plan coming. More information on that later. But basically, if you want to join our pronunciation Telegram group, it's just like today. I send a group of words, I send an audio file, myself saying the words, and then you can reply with your own audio, and I give you suggestions. Very similar to what we do today. So if you want to have an experience like that every single day of the week, I can always be with you. It's at patreon.com/fluentamerican. There's another teacher there as well who was great. I hired her back when I was a director at a language center. And I got in touch with her. I was like, hey, you want to help me out with this thing? And she's like, yes. I was like, yes. So we're very fortunate to have her as well. So get help not just from me, but from 2 teachers. Oh my gosh. Midnight here. Good evening. Who sleeps? We don't sleep. We study American English. What? Okay. Who next? I do have to head out very soon because I don't think my son is sleeping. I have to see if he's bothering my parents. My guess is yes. Okay, this is the last one from our original group.
Regulars.
This is Zobeda going for it. I appreciate that. Zobeda, you're a beast. Just want to find where I posted that. It's 3 a.m. Justin. Oh, yeah, because you're in the Philippines. Right. Yeah. Hang on, I want to find our sentence really quick. Yeah, this, in a lot of ways, Asian time zones tend to be actually easier for my students because having that 12-hour difference is much easier to calculate and kind of get in mind. The hard one is Europe. European time zones are the worst in terms of trying to match up with the East Coast. Very difficult. Okay, Zobeda, what we got for you? What we got? We have a duet? Oh man, get excited guys. There's some things about to happen.
Regulars.
It's just very tense and high.
Regulars.
I think we mentioned again, especially the second half of this I think is less, like I know, I sent you the words so I know what you were saying. If I didn't have the words, it might have been a little bit tricky for that second half. Can you say a long schwa sound first followed by an aw sound? You could do an ah sound too. I personally would do more of an ah. Long, along. You can do it with a clear L sound like along, or you can do it with a dark L like along. Okay, with the tip of your tongue down. Either one is fine. Along or along the range. Along the range. Along probably would not get stressed. You're giving me, so I know that this was a practice for R sounds. So it kind of depends on what your goal is. If you want to sound the most natural though, you're giving me a lot of stresses. Almost every single one of these words is stressed. So that's kind of impacting how this sounds. You stressed every single word except for the. Okay, if this were an actual sentence, wranglers regularly roar. Wranglers regularly roar along the range. Wranglers regularly roar along the range. Maybe you could, there's a lot of different options, but probably 2 stresses at the most. Maybe like roar and range. Wranglers regularly roar along the range. Okay. And I know you're practicing R sounds, so maybe that's not the focus, but that's also going to have an impact on clarity too, because you're stressing everything, that's changing your pattern. So in some ways that actually can affect clarity too, because it takes more focus from your listener to get it. So in some ways, using a more natural rhythm is actually more beneficial, even if you're targeting a specific sound.
Regulars.
Instead of lairs, more lurs. Try to keep that lower. Regulars. So I appreciate the intonation. So you do want, I think having rising intonation is good.
Regulars.
Regulars. So I think that's fine, but lower it. Okay. Regulars. Regularly. Same thing here. Regularly. You want the li to be at a lower pitch than the reg, but you can still have that rising intonation. Regularly. Okay. Wranglers, regularly. Is it le, more li? I think your E sound could be a little sharper, but lower placement. So it's not li, it's more le, regularly.
Regulars regularly roar along the range.
Roar I like.
Roar.
Roar. I do think it could be a little lower. Okay, but the general sound I think is good. Roar. Roar versus roar. So again a little lower. Along the range. I would reduce along. And I think that'll have a pretty big impact on this. Along the range. Okay. But yeah, those are going to be my big suggestions there. Hopefully that makes sense. But if anything's not clear, be sure to let me know. Thank you for sending that file. Alright, there are a couple audio files I need to scan. Okay. See what I missed. Let me see. 3 a.m. Right? Beast mode. This is the best time of day. Oh my gosh, you're just not even seeing the day. That's the best time of day for me. Oh my gosh. No, I think it's the audio. Again, when I talked earlier about the mic, I think I would definitely consider that if you can. Might be worth investing. Doesn't have to be inexpensive, like just a different microphone than the one you're using. Which was just to get the right instinct. We just need to practice. Yes and no. This is again, shadow exercises are helpful. I have videos. If you go to my channel, you search like videos on stress. I have them. I'm also going to be making another video. Again, I'm part of my beginner series that talks about stress. But there are patterns that you can study to start kind of getting familiar with. So for instance, pronouns. Pronouns typically do not get stressed. Articles, like the, and, typically don't get stressed. Adjectives usually don't get stressed unless there's no noun. Like if it's just like, oh, like today is hot. You know, in that case you would stress hot. But if there's a noun after it, then the adjective probably is not going to get stressed. Okay. There are also patterns. There are things called compound nouns. Like for instance, like a cell phone, math class, English teacher. You know, these are all examples of compound nouns where you have 2 or more words that join together to make one thing. You know, a cell phone is a specific thing. An English class is a specific thing. An English teacher is a specific person. Okay, so things like that. So you can certainly do exercises like targeting those to just kind of get used to patterns. I think I have a video that goes over like a workout video on stress, but I have lots of videos on stress. If you're looking for content to get started with and you appreciate my style. But again, if you just type in English Stress 2 on YouTube, there's thousands of teachers that have content for it too. Yes. But yeah, stress is super important because that's going to really be one of the biggest determining factors for your pronunciation. Oh my gosh. I'm doing some vetting. This might take a while, guys. Oh my gosh. If you have other pronunciation questions, this is a great time for that. Oh man, he's doing the low pitches and the highs. Oh my god. I'm gonna get a copyright strike for this. I'm nervous about playing that. I don't know if I can do all of these. These are super long files. Oh, you will find out who is that guy. Who is that guy? Oh, I don't have my... Singer, if you're watching this, I have some swag for you. What's up, Hamid? It's been a minute, man. Are you doing your third honeymoon? Fourth honeymoon? He told me like he did one honeymoon. And then he went on like a second one. Go for that nasal quality. Oh my gosh. Must we get all the strikes on this. Okay, almost ready, guys. And checking one level one. Alright guys, I don't think I have time to do everything, but yeah, I'm definitely going to get some strikes. I might have to cut. But in any case...
Hey everyone, it's Jeff.
All my troubles seem so far.
Okay, alright.
Alright, let's get into it. Without further ado, some mad singing. Pouring his heart out. Can't agree more. Congrats on the move. I know a couple people that just moved to Canada, actually. Gotta find Rana. She's here somewhere. Okay. It's time. Good question, Justin. It's time for you to be blown away.
Oh, my love, my darling, I've hungered for your
It's got the vibrato going and everything. Look at this.
a long, lonely
Look at
time.
So good.
And time
Oh my gosh.
by so slowly, and time can do
This should be my pull, right? The vibrato is just, oh my god. Oh, you didn't go higher, like. Okay, these are like so long.
Tell me something, girl. Are you happy in this modern world?
Nobody knows who this guy is. He's the king. Just told you. No, he's our singer. I have some merch that I need to show you guys. I'm excited about.
I'm falling.
This song I'm not as familiar with, I'll be honest.
In all the good times I find myself longing.
Moving right along.
When I find myself in times of trouble, fluent American comes to me.
I appreciate it, man.
Speaking words of wisdom, let it be.
He needs that piano.
And in my hour of darkness, he is standing right in front of me, speaking words of wisdom, let it be.
I guess we have to read the refrain.
Oh, let it be, let it be, let it be, oh, let it be.
Oh.
Speaking words of wisdom, let it be. Thanks, Jeff.
Thank you, singer. Thank you. There was a time singer stopped sending us singing. You just sent like impersonations. I was assuming the same person.
Another day has gone.
You now can. You know, I've been trying to make the podcast. Our platform is very limited on time, but we did get spoiled, yeah. But
You never said
McDonald's.
goodbye.
A lot of people around the world say Mac, but like in
Someone
North America, like no
tell
one
me
says Mac. Like if you say like, oh, I'm gonna go to Mac. People like,
did you have
like
to
Apple, like
go?
Macintosh, like what? It's nuts. It's
Leave
McDonald's.
my world
McDonald's.
so
Yeah.
cold.
Placement's a little.
Every day
He's so emotional, man. He's crying. Come on.
How did I slip
But anyways, yeah, the podcast you could add to your playlist and things like that if you really are desperate to hear this. I know I am. Again, I need to make the just compilation of singer audio files. Yeah. It'd be hard to teach over this, I think. Because there's someone like crying in the background singing. It's like trying to teach how to say a word like little or like rural. Oh man, so that was that. Singer, thank you so much as always for gracing us with your presence and more importantly your voice. So talented. Why I imagine you've just already won like the millions of dollars in like contests and selling albums and things, so you just have all this spare time to spend with us. But yeah, I think you guys have done it once more. You have spent an hour and a half of your Saturday with me, or in the future, in the future, the past version of me in the future, things like that. What an ending, indeed. If I had I wish I had my soundboard. Like all my stuff's missing. It's just me here. Reminds me of the old days back when I first started live streaming. Had that brick wall behind me. But yeah, thank you so much for spending part of your Saturday with me, for relying on me for some of your American English pronunciation information. You know, again, there's millions of teachers out there, millions of videos out there, so the fact that you spent a little bit of your time with me, I do greatly appreciate it. If you're looking for opportunities, firstly, that are free, because who doesn't love free pronunciation resources, check out the channel. You know, that's all we do here. That's part of the reason why we do it, is to make sure everyone has access to accent information, if they're interested in that. But other things too, we also have that free trial, which you can see again in the Facebook message I posted earlier. That will again be starting on Monday. I'll actually probably be here again because we leave on Tuesday. So take a look at that. If you're looking for other resources, again, we also have the pronunciation group on Telegram, where again you get pronunciation feedback every day, and you can also do classes and stuff like that too. So all different kinds of pay levels for whatever you can handle. But who doesn't love the free stuff out there? Thank you so much for being with me. I do appreciate it. I will see you guys next week, same time, Schwa Mill, Saturdays at 1:30 p.m. American East Coast time zone. I will see you guys later. Thanks so much for the kind words, everybody. I do appreciate it. Singer has more fans. That's great. You guys have a good weekend. We will talk soon. Have a good day. Have a good night. Have a good afternoon. I'll see you guys. Bye.